Hello everyone, this is Saianusha and welcome to my channel Biology book. If you are watching my channel for the first time, don't forget to like, share, subscribe and leave a nice comment or suggestion in the comment section below. So today I have come before you with a very interesting topic, the heart. I know you all like this topic, right? So here, coming to the heart, we all know that heart is an organ which belongs to the circulatory system. I want to explain you about the structure of heart. So here, to know about the structure of heart and to learn about all the parts of the heart, there is a systematic way. If you learn in that systematic way, we can easily understand and remember each and every part and its role in the functioning of a heart. And initially, to learn about the heart, first of all, we'll start with the pericardial membrane. The pericardial membrane is the outermost covering of the heart. This pericardial membrane consists of two layers, the outer pericardium and the inner pericardium. And the two layers of pericardial membrane are filled with a cavity known as pericardial cavity. This cavity is completely filled with the pericardial fluid. The main function of this pericardial fluid is to protect the heart from external shocks. So here, coming to the pericardial membrane, just remember three terms. The first one is pericardial membrane and the second one is pericardial layers, the two layers, and the third term you have to remember is about pericardial cavity. And this pericardial cavity is filled with the fourth term, the pericardial fluid. The main function of this pericardial membrane is to protect the heart from the external shocks. Is it very easy, right? So now let's get into the chambers of the heart. Heart is divided into four chambers. The upper two chambers are called auricles and the lower two chambers are called as ventricles. So here you can see the blue colored parts and also the red colored parts of the heart. The blue colored parts of the heart are nothing but the parts which carry deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated is nothing but the blood which carries carbon dioxide. And here the red colored parts are completely filled with oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood is nothing but the blood which carries oxygen. And here coming to the auricles here, the auricles are also called as atria. Atria is plural and atrium is singular. And here coming to the walls of the auricles, if you observe, and also the walls of the ventricles are always thicker than the walls of the auricles. Here there is a simple logic that the auricles are always involved in just carrying of the blood which they receive from the veins. That's it. And this blood present in the atria that enters into ventricles, and here the ventricles plays a major role in storing and pumping of the blood to all the parts and also lungs. So here the walls of the auricles are always thin and compare with the walls of the ventricles. So here the walls of the auricles are very thinner when compared with the walls of the ventricles. That's it about the auricles. And coming to the ventricles, here the walls of the ventricles are very thicker than the walls of the auricles. Here coming to the right side of the heart, the right side of the heart, if you can see, it is completely filled with blue color. So here the right side of the heart consists of the deoxygenated blood and the left side of the heart completely consists of the oxygenated blood. So here, after learning about the auricles, let's get into the main blood vessels of the heart, the blood vessels which carry the blood. Here, coming to the blood vessels, the main important blood vessels present in each and every human body are arteries and veins. Arteries always carry oxygenated blood from heart to all the parts of the body, and veins carry the deoxygenated blood from all the parts of the body to the heart. So here a simple sentence we can say that arteries carry oxygenated blood from the heart to body parts and veins carry the deoxygenated blood from the body parts to the heart. And here, first of all, let us see about the two important arteries present in the heart. First of all, let us see about the pulmonary artery. Here, as I told you, the arteries always carry the oxygenated blood. There is an exemption about pulmonary artery. As I told, the right side of the heart always carry deoxygenated blood. The pulmonary artery, which arises from the right ventricle, also carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs. The next artery, the main artery, is the systemic aorta. This is the systemic aorta which arises from the left ventricle. Right? So here the systemic aorta always arises from the left ventricle and it always carries oxygenated blood, because the left side of the two chambers of the heart, the left auricle and left ventricle, always carry oxygenated blood. And this systemic aorta is very thicker and it carries the oxygenated blood to all the parts of the body. And if you can see the upper branches of this systemic aorta, it supplies blood to the upper parts of the body. To the veins of the heart, here we can see the pulmonary veins. As I told you, the veins always carry the deoxygenated blood from all the parts of the body to heart. But here another exemption is for pulmonary veins. Pulmonary veins always carry the oxygenated blood from the lungs and they open into this left atrium. Here, one more point you have to remember, that veins always enter into the arteries and arteries always arises from ventricles. If you see here, the pulmonary artery and systemic aorta have arisen from the right ventricle and the left ventricle, and if you see, the pulmonary veins entered into the right auricle. Right? So here we have seen the two important arteries, the pulmonary artery which arises from the right ventricle and also the systemic aorta which arises from the left ventricle. And coming to the veins, the first important vein, we have seen the pulmonary veins which are arising from the lungs into the left atrium. Right? So here these pulmonary veins, they arise into the left atrium. From the right lung we can see the pulmonary veins and also the two pulmonary veins from left lung. So there are totally 4 pulmonary veins which opens into the left atrium. Apart from pulmonary veins, there are one more important veins we are going to study. Those veins are nothing but superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Superior vena cava is also called as the anterior vena cava because this superior vena cava, as all the veins bring deoxygenated blood from all the body parts, this superior vena cava brings deoxygenated blood from the upper body parts like the chest, neck and the head region. And if you see the inferior vena cava or the posterior vena cava, the name itself indicates that it receives the deoxygenated blood from the lower body parts and supply it into the right atrium. Right? So here the pulmonary veins open into the left atrium and the two veins, the superior and inferior vena cava, they open into right atrium. In this way, all the right side of the heart is filled with the deoxygenated blood and the left side of the heart filled with oxygenated. Before going into the brief explanation of the functioning of the heart, let us find out some more parts of the heart that are nothing but valves. You all know that valves play a very important role in the functioning of the heart. See here, if you see, there are different types of valves here, the tricuspid valve and the bicuspid valve, and also we can find semilunar valves. Here, the tricuspid valve consists of three flap-like structures here. So here these are the three flap-like structures present between the right atrium and the right ventricle, and here we can see the two flap-like valves present between the left atrium and the left ventricle. These valves will allow the movement of the blood from right atrium to the right ventricle in only one direction, and once the blood has been transported from right atrium to the right ventricle, again these valves will prevent the reverse flow of the blood the right ventricle and to the right atrium. In the same way, here the two flaps, the bicuspid valve prevents the blood into the reverse flow from left ventricle into the left atrium. So it helps for the transportation or the movement of the blood from left atrium to the left ventricle, and it just prevents the reverse flow. That is the importance of valve called as the bicuspid valve and the tricuspid valve. You can also see some semilunar valves. See here, there are three semilunar valves that are present at the point where the deoxygenated blood enters into the pulmonary artery. So these semilunar valves also acts in the same function. And here, coming to the aorta, starting in the aorta also you can see the semilunar valves, which are 3 in number. These semilunar valves also prevents the reverse flow of blood from the aorta into the left ventricle. So here there is an important structure which helps in the holding of these valves. Those structures are nothing but the chordae tendineae. The chordae tendineae always helps in the holding of the valves between the atria and ventricles. And here this chordae tendineae have been evolved from the muscles known as papillary muscles. These papillary muscles have evolved from the ventricles. These papillary muscles have arose into the chordae tendineae, which helps in holding the valves. And here this is about the structure of the heart.